And I'll do that for the people who weren't able to get on because of weather and things like that. And I'm going to try to watch the inbox. But again, welcome to the call. I'm Monique. I'm the owner of Abundant Wellness and Travel, and we are going to Ghana 2025. So I know you guys who logged in already have heard this, but I just want to say it for the sake of the people who will be watching this later. This is just treetops to get interest on who wants to move forward. And so you will text me at the end of this call to let me know that, hey, I definitely want to move forward. I'm deposit ready and we're going to go. No money is due right now, but you will get a form. So go ahead and fill out that form when you get it if you do want to move forward. And we will go from there. You'll get all the updates and things on our group me that I've already set up. So I'll make sure that everybody is a part of that group me. If you have any questions as I'm speaking, please write those questions down. And we'll get those questions answered at the end of the call. Okay. Um, Let me share my screen. Some of you guys have already gotten this. If you have not gotten this, send me a text. I'm going to call out my phone number. It's 318-469 8274. So if you have not gotten this particular presentation, because I know some people in the group extended the invitation to this call, and I have not actually touched base with you. So if that's you, make sure you text me to let me know that you need this presentation. And also the actual detailed itinerary. I've sent that out as well. So if you don't have either one of those, this one or the detailed itinerary, please text me 318-469-8274. And so if you didn't get that, just let me know at the end of the call and I'll give you that number again. All right, so this is the AWT Ghana Takeover. Now, the dates that you see listed here says July 1st through the 8th, but it's actually going to be June 30th because you'll basically be in the air all day June 30th. And you will arrive on July 1st. And then you will leave on the 8th, but you will not touch back down into the US until the 9th. Okay. So just kind of if you do plan on going, just kind of arrange for those specific dates instead of this July 1st through the 8th. All right. So this is where we're going. This is Africa. And we're going to Ghana right there where the little star is. And so we will not spend all of our time in one city. We're going to be going from city to city. We have transportation that's going to take us from city to city. But we're going to spend 3 days in Accra. We're going to spend 2 days in Kumasi, and then we're going to spend 2 days in Elmina. Okay. So again, we'll be going place to place to place so that we can see as much of the area as possible. A very good itinerary. And so I wanted to talk about the to-do list. So first things first, you have to have a passport to go on this trip. Okay. And not only do you have to have a passport, you have to make sure that your passport is still going to be valid at the time of travel. And by valid, I mean you have more than 6 months left on your passport. Okay. Because if you have less than 6 months, your passport is not valid to travel internationally. So your passport does not expire when it expires. It expires before it expires, 6 months before. So check your dates on your passport to make sure that you're still going to be good with that. You also will need to have a yellow fever vaccine. Now, there are some vaccines you that are kind of suggested but not required. So I'm just going to say get with your doctor to see, if you need those suggested um vaccines, but you have to have that yellow fever vaccine. You cannot get into the country without that yellow fever vaccine. Now, the yellow fever vaccine is not covered by insurance. So, if you're in the Shreveport area, um You can get that yellow fever vaccine over on Greenwood Road at the Willis Knighton work care center. You can walk in, but you do have to have a prescription from your doctor. And the yellow fever vaccine is not cheap. I've seen them as much as $500 and as low as $200. Now, the information that I got from work care um is $286. If you are a female who is still able to have children, it's a little bit higher. It's $308. But if you've had like a hysterectomy or you're not in your childbearing years, then it's $286. And you have to have that before you can even apply for your tourist visa, which is that next thing on there. You have to apply for a tourist visa. And that visa can be anywhere from 60 to $100. Now, the higher it is, it's because you have to have it expedited. But hopefully none of you will wait that long and that you have to have it expedited. So as long as you get it in good enough time, you don't have to spend that $100. It'll be about $60. But again, they will not even accept that without that yellow fever vaccine. Like, you have to show proof that you have that before they will even approve that tourist visa. And you have to have a tourist visa. Like, even though you have a passport, you still have to have that tourist visa. Now, the malaria vaccine is one that if you want it, you can have it. They can do an injection or you can take the malaria pills. From what I hear, the malaria pills are not really easy on the stomach. So, it's up to you if you even want to get that particular vaccine. But like I said, I'm not a doctor. Talk to your doctor to see exactly what vaccines they suggest, for you. But that yellow fever vaccine is not it's non-negotiable. You have to have that one. Anything else is kind of, if you want it and if your doctor says you need it. Okay. And here is the big question. What does it cost for this trip? Okay. So at the top, you can see that it says $2,500 per person for double or triple occupancy. So if you have two people in the room, each person is going to pay $2,500. If you have three people in the room, each person is going to pay $2,500. Now, it's actually a little bit less than $2,500. It's like 2474, whatever. I just rounded it up for the presentation, just so you can kind of get a mental picture, because I don't work well with exact numbers like that. But when you get your invoice, it's gonna say the exact amount. It's not gonna say $2,500. And the deposit per person is $200. So that's what locks you in. Now, the vendor that I'm going through, they did say the more people you have, the less expensive it can be. But I didn't really think that the trip was gonna take off like this. So I did not ask them what that magic number was. So like, if we reached a certain amount of people, what would it go down to? So I will be doing that with, probably this week or whatever, but I wouldn't think that it's gonna go down too much. My guess is $100, $200, $300 or something like that, but it won't be what it is. So just kind of keep that $2,500 in mind just in case. But again, those of you who seriously want to move forward, you will definitely get that information in detail. Now, if you are wanting to stay in a room by yourself, the cost is a little higher. Well, a lot higher. It's $3,200 per person. If you want to be in a room by yourself, but the deposit is still the same, $200. The full balance for this part of it, because air is not included in this, but the final balance will be due by April 25th. So just kind of plan on, paying a little bit every month until then. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do the invoices where it's gonna automatically email you to let you know that, hey, you got a payment due, this month. And it's around $250. When I added it up, I can't remember the exact amount, but it's around $250. After you pay that first 200, then the next month you'll pay like 250, and you'll keep paying 250 on up to April 25th. I think that last payment was a little bit, it wasn't exactly 250, but whatever it was, that last payment was different. And so what does this cover? So we get a private tour guide. So that tour guide is going to be with us from the time we step off the plane in Ghana until they take us back. So um they're gonna, be with us through every tour. Anything that we want to do, except for when we have free time, you can go and kind of do as you please. But for the most part, the things that we're gonna be doing, we're gonna have a tour guide with us all the time. This does include your hotel stay. It includes your transfers to and from the airport, entry fees. So like when we go to any attractions and things like that, that's going to be included. We don't have to pay, buy a ticket or anything when we get there, because we're going to already have taken care of that, and breakfast. Now, what I will say, this notification down here at the bottom, it says notify bank before making payments. So this company that I'm using is out of India. And of course, India, when you think about India, you think about frauds. A lot of fraud come out of India. But this company has been in existence for years. I've used it before. It's just that American banks will flag it because they think, it's fraud. So I always say call your bank. I tell my clients, when they're going to places like this, Thailand and Africa and Europe and all those places that this company does, to make sure you call your bank, notify them that, hey, you have a payment that you want to go through, that's going to India, and you should be fine. Now, what it does not include, it does not include the cost of the vaccine. Like I said, I gave you the cost of the vaccine already for here. Now, there are only certain places that give it. You cannot walk into your doctor's office and say, "Hey, I need a yellow fever vaccine." They can write you a prescription and tell you where to go. It may be a pharmacy, it may be the work care place, like what I told you. It may be a hospital, wherever, but it does not cover the cost of the vaccine. It does not cover the cost of the tourist visa. It does not cover airfare. Airfare, I do not know the price as of yet. Okay. And I know we're flying from different places and things like that. But once airfare becomes available, I will quote that for you. I've seen it be, anywhere from $1,000 on the cheap end up to $2,000 on the high end. So it's going to be somewhere in between. I cannot confirm, what that will be right now. Meals that are not listed, the only meals that were listed was the breakfast. So any other meals that you guys do, you're gonna have to cover that cost on your own. There's no all inclusives here. Gratuities, our tour guides, our drivers, things like that, you want to make sure that you tip them. And then any items of personal nature, of course, like your souvenirs and things of that nature. And again, I know some of you have not received the detailed itinerary. This is kind of like a little sketch of it. But we'll arrive in the airport. Somebody's going to meet us there, take us to our hotel. Day two, we're going to see the W.E.B. Du Bois Center, where I don't know if you guys have done any research on him, but very a famous activist for civil rights in the U.S., who later in life in his 90s moved to Ghana, and he actually became a Ghana citizen and passed away there. But he went there because Ghana was going to fund his encyclopedia idea. So he was going to do an African American encyclopedia, and he was going to oversee the whole process. And Ghana, like I said, was going to fund that for him. But he ended up passing away. I think he was like 90-ish, 92 or so when he went there. And then he was like 94, 95 or whatever when he passed away. So he was only there a few years before he passed away. So I'm super excited about that. We're gonna see all the cultural stuff, the fishing villages. This one place where they talked about the fantasy coffins, where they actually build coffins for people according to what their job was. So the example they use, if somebody was a fisherman, their coffin might be in the shape of a fish. So something kind of interesting to see. And then day three will be over in Kumasi. and we'll again see a lot of historical stuff, a lot of villages, a lot of wood carvers. We'll see people weaving those colorful fabrics that associated with the African culture. So just a real cultural experience there. And day 4 will still be in Kumasi. Again, a lot of historical stuff, and on day 4, and then on day 5 is the one that I'm just super excited about. This is when we'll actually get our African name. So there's a very serious ritual that they do over there, where they'll look at your date of birth and your birth order in your family, and they will give you your African name. And this is how they traditionally have named people there since the beginning of time. And so I thought that that was going to be really, really, really cool. So I'm excited about that. And then day 6, again, more historical stuff. We'll get into like the slave trade and the door of no return and that kind of thing. And then day 7, a little bit more historical stuff. And then day 8, we will depart. And so again, I have this in detail. Um, and so if you want it, please make sure you text me and let me know, and I will send that over to you. Are there any that really is the end of the presentation. What questions do you guys have? And you can come off mute.
Miss Monique, what's the dates again?
Okay, so you'll leave on June 30th, 2025, and then come back on we'll leave on the 8th, but we'll get back to the States on the 9th.
So July the 9th.